it honestly feels unbelievable that this team has been able to pull themselves out of the hole that they were in.
Yeah, 6-6, and now to be playing for the 2 seed.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Or to miss the playoffs.
Yes, yeah. But I feel like it's actually kind of the perfect...
It is the Bills season, the Bills 2023 season in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Buffalo Plus, your interactive look at the week in football, brought to you by
All right, welcome back to
Connors
the
and
Buffalo
Ferris.
Plus YouTube channel, presented by Connors and Ferris. Dan Fates, I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We are looking ahead. Bills at Dolphins. We're here in Orchard Park at the facility.
Week
Bills,
18.
Yeah.
We have made it.
We have made it to Week 18, which is crazy.
Thanks to you.
Biggest game of the season, Sunday. The division's still up for grabs.
Yep.
The Bills still hoping to clinch the playoffs. Let's start with Josh Allen.
Yes.
Had some neck soreness after a stinger in the game on Sunday. He said today he's all good.
Yeah, Sean McDermott said he's still sore, which I think is understandable. We were joking around on the way up. Josh played football for a lot of his life. He said he had never experienced a stinger before. Both of us have had stingers and have never played professional athletics at any sort of level.
I know you're shocked.
Yeah, but good to know that Josh seems fine. I don't think this is anything massive. Stingers can be more of a come and go kind of thing. So the soreness is lingering, but I don't think it's going to affect his play, throwing, performance, anything like that.
It's also something to know. It was on his left shoulder that
Yeah.
he did have the stinger. So thankfully for Bills fans, it was not his throwing shoulder in terms of his right arm. But I expected to be soreness like you talked about,
Yep.
but not inhibit him from being the Josh Allen that we know. And he
Big
actually...
word.
Thank you. I said it too. Like I said it all in one try, I meant.
It's phenomenal.
So my thing is, we talked to Allen today about, he's been a little bit off in these last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
He's made some pretty nice throws in certain moments. I'm thinking of the one to like Khalil Shakir and other moments. But he said after the game on Sunday, he felt a little funky. And Allen talked this week about just needing to be better. And I think we talked to Deion Dawkins too. Like, Josh Allen, they know what they have in him, and I expect him to be able to figure it out.
100%. We've talked about it. The trap game versus the letdown game, okay? We're not going to debate that.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that these last 2 games have kind of been games where you can, hey, I know they get paid on the other side of the ball too. The Bills kind of sleptwalk through the games. They did what they needed to do. They were down in both games. I think it shows resiliency to come back in both those spots.
Mm-hmm.
But I think after the Cowboys game, you knew, hey, as long as you take care of business against the Chargers and you take care of business against New England at home, Week 18 is all that's going to matter. Now you get to this spot. I think this is a game where the offense comes back. I really am not concerned, and I'm usually the one that raises red flags about play calling and offensive continuity. Not really concerned all that much. I think this is a spot where they bounce back. I think this is a spot where I'm not saying they held anything back, but it just kind of always seems like while you're focused on the team in front of you and every game's important, you kind of were looking out the corner of your eye that Week 18 in Miami, which Josh dominates the Dolphins.
Generally speaking, he's 9-2 in his career. I think something about this Bills team, though, is that they do a tremendous job of playing up to the teams they play or playing down to the teams they play. And this week, obviously, they have the attention of the Dolphins. And the Dolphins, too, I think what they're coming off of, an embarrassing loss to the Ravens, the Bills know what they need to do. And we've seen Allen really struggle in moments this season, but I expect him to be that Josh Allen. And I think especially because of the Dolphins' injuries that they have, especially in terms of their pass rush, I think that will be immensely helpful for this Bills team. And I want to see Stefon Diggs get going.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, I think that's a massive piece. It's weird to know that, like I said, we're now going on a larger sample size of Stefon Diggs having a little lull. And this was kind of what happened at the end of last year, too, where his production kind of went down. I don't know whether it's a wall that he's hitting at this point in the season or whether it's a defense is adjusting. Sean McDermott was asked, hey, what? It's not like teams just all of a sudden found out that Stefon Diggs, we should try and cover him. So Sean kind of joked around by saying, hey, maybe somebody out, ask other defenses what they're doing to
It's a question for other defenses.
Right, but I think there is some concern in the fact of why this has lingered again, now with Joe Brady, a new offensive play caller. But I guess there is some calmness to me of they're still winning. Guys are still stepping up and making plays. You're still finding ways to run the ball, whether it's turnovers or things like that. We went to that New England game. I know we're still looking in the past a little bit, but You didn't need to open up everything in your bag of tricks.
I hear that 1,000%.
Field goals and punts were going to win
bury
that game.
them. Yeah,
and that's what they did. So yes, it was disappointing that they were in the red zone. They weren't very good. I don't think they're showing everything.
I agree. I think they're definitely holding stuff back. Josh Allen has also said these last couple of weeks in the pregame huddle when he breaks it, like, just win.
Yep.
And it's literally, it has been
Yep.
that. I guess my thing is I just want to see Diggs get going a little bit because he had some big catches, small numbers, but big catches in that Chargers game. But you just want to see him be that guy. Dawson Knox also talked today, too. Like, yes, maybe Stefon Diggs' numbers aren't fantastic, but what he does in the field, the double teams that he draws, which I do think that is a piece of it as well. But I would feel a little bit more comfortable.
It's also not for lack of him being open because Josh hits him on that go route, and it's an 83-yard touchdown, and we're sitting there going, Stefon Diggs and Josh Allen are back.
Yeah.
So it's not for a lack of that there's no opportunities there. Josh was the first one. We're watching the press box, and I instantly went to Josh, and he's bent over at the waist going, I can't believe I missed him.
Yeah.
And again, that goes back to Josh saying the ball was just a little off that game.
Yeah.
I don't expect to see that again. He's always seemed to be able to right the ship, and I thought he was a little off early on in the Chargers game, and I thought he was great down the stretch. So I'm not overly concerned about this offense.
This team is very good in December and January.
Very good. 18-2 or something like that the last few years.
That. Yeah, I feel like, too, I'm just so excited for Sunday.
It'd be awesome.
What this game means. Obviously, we'll have a little bit better of an idea Saturday. So if the Steelers lose to the if the Steelers lose to the Ravens, then the Bills will make the postseason. Or if the Jaguars lose to the Titans, then the Bills will also make the playoffs. Or if Houston and Indy tie. I know people haven't talked about that. Someone emailed me about that. That is also a scenario as well. But this Bills team, like, where we were at earlier on in the season, when the Bills were 6-6 and they had that terrible loss to the Broncos, to now, it honestly feels unbelievable that this team has been able to pull themselves out of the hole that they were in.
Yes.
I don't know, bro. I wish I had the perfect answer for you. The team became more of a team. It was all of the dinners, all of the hanging outs, all of the Uno games, the card games, the everything, cornhole, all of it. It was a little bit of all of that, of guys, meshing together closer and understanding that we could have all of the talent in the world, but when you play for your brother, like genuinely play for your brother, we're an unstoppable group. So I think that we done hit that mode where we're not playing for ourselves anymore and we're playing for each other. It's not about self and it's about the team. And I play for Connor. Connor is right next to me, so he's immediate. And then I also play for Josh because we have to protect him, even though everything starts with Josh. But I want Connor to know every snap, every punch, I got his back, and just as well as I know that he has mine. And I'm pretty sure that everybody that has somebody next to them on the field plays with that same heart. So that's what is different. Everybody is looking to their left and to their right, and they're saying, I got you. And that's really all a brotherhood is, and that's what we got here at Buffalo.
Yeah, they're a resilient group. They really are. The resolve that they've shown through the course of the year, beyond, as you said, after the Denver game, but even before that. Every season, as I've said, has its own signature, takes on its own life, and I think the key is just to continue to take it 1 week at a time, continue to learn, grow, improve, and when you can do that, you're going to give yourself the best chance moving forward.
Yeah, 6-6, and now to be playing for the 2 seed.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Or to miss the playoffs.
Yes, yeah, but I feel like it's actually kind of the perfect.
It is the Bills season, the Bills 2023 season in a nutshell.
Yes, I agree with that. I certainly do. And I hope for fans' sake that we are traveling next week and we're doing all these things. And I think
I don't want to travel next week.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Sorry. You hope that the Bills win. They
Love
clinch the 2 seed. We have guaranteed at least one home playoff game. All those things. I hear that. But I love that this is in Miami. This Miami team we talked about earlier on in the season, myself included, we knew they were going to be good.
Yeah.
But it honestly reminds me, I told you this in the car, it's kind of like the tortoise and the hare of like Miami sprints out to this great start. Everyone is crowning them. And then there go the Bills. Not exactly pretty, but at the same point, it's still on Sunday. This will be the deciding factor.
Spencer Brown talks about how at the beginning of the season when the schedule came out, he told his mom Week 18 could have a lot of implications. He didn't know there would be this big of implications, but he knew that, just like you said, this is going to have a lot of factor. The fact that it's on Sunday night, it's a privilege, all of those things that come down to it. It's going to be awesome. Again, this is also a Dolphins team that's already clinched. Now they're playing for a home playoff game and all of those things that go into it.
The division.
They're also without Bradley Chubb. They're banged up with Waddle.
Yeah.
Tua got he's fine, but again, he got hit pretty hard last week too.
Shoulder issue.
This all of a sudden and I think this Dolphins defense is actually playing better than their offense is, especially over the last month. They've been playing really well since Jalen Ramsey came back, but Xavier Howard looks like he's going to miss time. They're kind of a mess. They're
2-2 in their last 4. Here's my thing. What do you think the Bills' vibe is? Because so many times we have talked about this team kind of downplaying the scenario. And I feel like we talked to some players who are like, yeah, this is a big game, all this stuff. But I felt like, to me, everyone was talking about how huge this game was.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's like 1 week at a time, all this stuff. But I felt that the players were like, yeah, this is a big deal.
Yeah, and it was, it's been a big deal for the last month. And that's kind of what it was. And, and I thought Deion Dawkins made a great point saying that it's been a playoff, feels like the playoffs for them since the Eagles game. And he talked about midway through the Eagles game, he saw his team kind of rally together to be like, hey, look at how good we can play. And it was. That second half went back and forth. Yeah. We saw super Josh Allen again, all of those things. He goes, it sucks that we lost, but he goes, at least for me, he goes, I saw us go toe-to-toe with, at the time, was a one-loss Eagles team. All of a sudden, you went right with them. And he goes, that was kind of the flip that switched. And the switch that flipped, caught it. And he goes, that goes back to the Bucs game a few years ago.
Yeah, that overtime loss, And
again, you're talking again about a team that just seems to be hitting their stride at the right part of the season, specifically the defense. They were great early on. They had injuries. They were terrible. And now they're playing really well again. They won the game against New England. And that's nice to know that while I always say this team will go as far as Josh goes, it's nice to know that it's not always has to be that way.
Yeah. And the defense has been outstanding. Rasul Douglas winning the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. They have really rounded into form.
Yeah.
We've talked so much about how good Ed Oliver has been, Terrell Bernard, all these guys. Taron Johnson also. Can't say enough good things about him. We'll have way more of a preview coming up in our podcast tomorrow.
Podcast tomorrow. We're all heading to South Beach.
It's a Buffalo Plus first.
Yeah, all of us traveling on the road. We will have recap from Saturday. We'll have another blog for Saturday. And then we will have our live show on Sunday. We'll have another video before the game Sunday.
Yeah.
Then we'll have a recap of the game on Monday for you as well. Loaded Buffalo Plus.
So much content.
So much Buffalo Plus.
So please be sure to subscribe. Turn on notifications too.
Yeah.
We're going to have a
little
lot
bell
to say. Yeah.
This little graphic comes up right now.
Yeah.
Bing, bing.
Okay, you're going to edit that in.
Yep.
Okay. All right, for Dan, I'm Jenna. Please be sure, like we talked about, to comment, and subscribe. It really does so much for us.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate it. We'll have more coverage coming up as the Bills take on the Dolphins in the biggest game by far of the season. We'll have plenty more coverage.
You said that funny.
I don't know. They're laughing over there. I'm getting distracted. All right. Bye. Thank you. We love you. Bye.
Buffalo Plus, your interactive look at the week in football, brought to you by Connors and Ferris.